I got into a conversation on social media after seeing somebody posting that they believe the idea of manifestation and creating your reality is a psyop set up by the evil people to put people in a place where they're taking responsibility for all of the suffering that they received due to those evil people. I personally think that being under the belief that we are victims is more detrimental than perceiving life as a benevolent force, and even the sufferings and challenges we have are gifts of education and ultimately asked for by ourselves. Of course, I got some hard responses to my response to that post. One woman saying, "It sounds like you've never been victimized." And I can understand how you could take the example of a young child being molested or raped or injured at a young age. How could they possibly be responsible for that? Now, if we want to look at it as victimhood versus evil, which these individuals were talking about, victimhood as subject to evil. Now, say that individual was molested. Say it was her uncle. So her uncle is an evil man that did this bad thing to her. But if we were to ask why, and we go deeper into the insult, to the injury, and we look into her uncle's life, we see that he was harmed as a young boy. And this is the best way that he has found to cope with it, to get somebody to understand the pain that he's feeling, is to pass the pain on. So he's a victim. So he's not the evildoer, he's also a victim. So who originated the evil? Who is the evil? And if we look at it through and through, it's victim, it's victim, it's victim, it's victim of what? So if we ask this question far enough, we go back really to the origin of what is this reality? And who am I? And this external world versus me. And I've personally, through my own self-introspection, come to see it as all the same thing. And all of the lives are all the same singular awareness. And to find this perspective in myself, and then to find it solidified in scripture of the Vedas, really has anchored it solidly within myself. Now, I'm not of the skill to be able to get people to that point of perception rapidly, but I do have belief in it. So I do ask these individuals that I've been in conversation with, who originated the suffering? Where does it start? And one of the deeper questions is ultimately going to be, do you believe there's life after death? Do you carry on your story, your imprints, your personality? Is there anything beyond that? Because in that perspective, just like one day, the way we act and behave leads to the next day in our experience and who we are and what we have or what we don't have, perhaps one life could lead to the next in the same way. Like a day in the life of the soul, living many lives. Now, whether or not you believe that, just thinking about the state, which perspective holds the most hope? Which perspective has the most peace? This idea that there is evil out there that is wanting to hurt us, or that there's a singular awareness that makes mistakes. Why do you have nightmares? Why have you suffered in your own dreams? Who created those fears and those experiences? Why would you do that to yourself? I believe personally, we're coming back to our own awareness. And as we're learning how to use our imagination, we make mistakes. Our fears come out and we create them. And they will have their effect on us. And then we have to bring that back in, digest it. Can we overcome it? Can we create from love as opposed to fear? So whether or not it's true, I find the perspective of the singularity, of the single spirit. There's no external evil, being the most life affirmative. This concept of there is an evil, there is an external force that wants to do harm. I actually believe that idea, the idea of the devil, so to speak, is the devil. The idea that there is evil is the origin of the evil itself. It doesn't exist apart from being held in the imagination. And so I think it's important that we keep asking questions. And even just on the very formal, mundane level of who was the evildoer? Let's look into their past. Then we see that they're victims. Look, we can have compassion. I understand why you did that. I understand why you were such a bad parent or such a bad friend. You had a really fucking challenging upbringing. And I can understand why your parents had put all that pressure on you if you look at their upbringing and what they went through. So if we keep diving into this evil being, we will find ourselves. We will find a human that went through a challenging experience, and it makes perfect sense why they act like that. And so that's why it's important for us to be introspective into ourselves. Why do we do that? Because with enough questioning, we can stop those cycles within ourselves so that we do not perpetuate our own victimhood, our own pain. And so it all comes back to God. So that's the thought for the day. Sitting in front of the temple, I'm really working on making this place cozy so we can have some nice deep meditations, get those insights, those talks, and sharing our hearts, because we need a space to do that. And right now, the interweb is that space, and this is where we're meeting. So I'm wishing you guys the best. Love you guys. See you again soon. Peace.